So we live in this perception of a perception of ourselves. Hence, my identity is made by what my parents think I should be. My identity is made up by what my college or university thinks I should achieve. While you're living in that bubble and that echo chamber, getting to what you really want to do is impossible, because maybe that just doesn't fit. And I think so many people feel that way today, that they don't fit into the current education system. They don't fit with the 3 or 4 or 5 careers that you're taught exist. So that process of self-excavation and actualization first requires being exposed. You can't be what you can't see.
And what we have to do in order to get to that place where we can take the keys and unlock the self-imposed prisons, or the prisons that we have given ourselves on the basis of what we have come to believe is our limitations, what we can and can't do. We have to let go of that. And I call it rewriting our agreement with reality.
I will wake up with a new mindset for myself, for my future. The sky's the limit to your dreams. You can go beyond the stars if you make it up in your mind that you won't be stopped.
You gotta take that thing out, like you gotta take the breath out. So some of y'all are afraid of math. Go after it. Go get it. Don't run from it no more. Go get it. You gotta go get it. It's possible.
At the end of the day, you're going to go as far as you're willing to fight for, and that's it. And if you're willing to fight to go all the way, then you will go that far. You will set a new bar. You will define for people what is possible.
You just have to have the drive and willpower to go through that next door and give it your all. We all must become the leaders that we're looking for. We got this.
Men and women begin to become great only when they begin to take time by themselves to listen to their inner voices and organize their lives in such a way that their activities and relationships give them a deep sense of inner peace. The first step that you can take to personal greatness is to sit down quietly and look over your life to determine the areas where you're not experiencing the peace of mind and happiness that you really want. You'll find that this is a very easy exercise to do because your mind is continually preoccupied with these problems, just like a person sitting on a tack would be preoccupied with the pain. Your job is to get off the tack. Your responsibility to yourself is to realize that you can never make someone else happy by being unhappy yourself, just as you can never make someone else healthy by being sick. You should not sacrifice your happiness in an attempt to somehow achieve the happiness of another person. You'll only end up making no one happy, especially yourself. In the play Cyrano de Bergerac by Edmond Rostand, Cyrano, the great individualist, is asked why it is that he is so outspoken and so self-assertive. He answers with this beautiful line. He says, "I choose the line of least resistance in this, that I will please at least myself in all things." When you make the decision that, for better or worse, you will please at least yourself in all things, only then will you be truly happy. And only then, it seems, will you be able to help anyone else to be happy as well. The second law of happiness is the law of emotion. It says that human beings are 100% emotional in everything they think and feel and decide. I used to think that people were 90% emotional and 10% logical. However, both research and experience contradicts this conclusion. People are totally emotional in everything they do. If a person says to you that he's decided to do the logical thing, it simply means that he has more emotion devoted to that course of action than he does to another course of action, and he uses the word logical to justify his decision. Someone once said that no matter how old you become, you always have the emotions of a teenager. This may or may not be true, but the central impact of your emotions and feelings is a key component in both understanding and achieving your own happiness. The first part of the law of emotion is that you are motivated by two major groups of emotions, those of love or desire, and those of fear or loss. These are the positive emotions and the negative emotions. These emotions were described by Sigmund Freud as emotions associated with pleasure and emotions associated with pain. You have a tendency to move toward those experiences you associate with pleasure or happiness, and you have a tendency to move away from those experiences you associate with pain or unhappiness. This is the essence of the pleasure principle that I mentioned earlier. The second part of this law of emotion says that the content of your emotional life is largely determined by the thoughts you dwell upon most of the time. This is such a simple and obvious truth that it's often overlooked by most people. It simply says that if you think happy thoughts, you will be a happy person. If you think angry thoughts, you'll be an angry person. If you think about the things that people have done to hurt you and the reasons you have to be angry or unhappy, you'll be negative, pessimistic, and eventually you'll be depressed. Abraham Lincoln once wrote, "A man is just about as happy as he makes up his mind to be." Well, this is true for you and true for me.
Let life touch you. Don't let it kill you, but at least let it touch you. The next touch could open up the well springs you'll never lack for desire for the rest of your life. From shortly after the time I met my teacher, Mr. Shope, at age 25, no one's ever had to say to me all these years, "When are you gonna get going?" Nobody's ever said that to me all these years. I've heard, "When are you gonna slow down? You're gonna have a heart attack and die. You can't keep up this kind of calendar." But nobody's ever said to me, "When are you gonna get going?" I'm asking you to keep searching for life experiences until you find one that lights your fires, until you will never lack for desire for the rest of your life, and nobody will ever have to say to you the rest of your life, "When are you gonna get off the couch?" Clue. Welcome all experiences. Don't put up the walls. The same wall that keeps out disappointment keeps out happy. Take the risk. And here's the last emotion that can change your life in a single day. It's called resolve. Resolve says, "I will." Two of the most powerful words in the language. I gave you the formula for disaster. Could, should, don't. Here's the formula for fortune. Should, could, will. I will. I should. I can, and I will. Two of the most powerful words in the language. I will. Benjamin Disraeli once said, "Nothing can resist a human will that will stake even its existence on its purpose." I'll do it or die. What a powerful set of words. The man says, "I will climb the mountain." They've told me it's too high, it's too far, it's too difficult, it's too rocky, it's never been done before. The man says, "Hey, it's my mountain, I'll climb it." Pretty soon you'll see me waving from the top or dead on the side, 'cause I ain't coming back. The best definition of resolve I ever got was from a junior high girl, Foster City, California. I love to talk to kids and ask them definitions. They come up with beauty. I got to this word and I said to the kids, "Who can tell me what resolve means?" Some didn't know and some tried. It was interesting. The best one I got was a little girl about 3 rows back. She said, "Mr. Owen, I think I know." I said, "What?" She said, "I think resolve means promising yourself you will never give up." I said, "That's the best I've ever heard. You can't say it any better than that. Promise yourself you will never give up. You don't have to promise me. You don't have to promise the world. Just promise yourself." What a great bit of language. I asked the kids, how long should a baby try to learn how to walk? How long would you give your average baby before he shut off? That's enough. No, any mother in the world would say, "You're silly. My baby's going to keep trying what? Until." What a magic word, until. How many books will you read? Until you find the answers for your good health? Read 1 and quit? Read 2 and quit? Risk a cardiovascular disaster? I can't buy that from you. Wouldn't you read enough books until? Wouldn't you read enough books on financial independence until you become financially independent? Wouldn't you read enough books on leadership until you become a leader? Wouldn't you read enough books on power until you got the power? Of course, why not? Don't settle for less. Use this little until phrase. I'll do enough exercises until I become healthy. I'm out of breath now, but I'll put myself through enough disciplines until I'm no longer out of breath. I'm not going to walk up 1 flight of stairs and can't catch my breath. It's over. Until magic.
Ask yourself questions. Your desire for success is fed by self-reflection, awareness, and resoluteness. Since everyone has their own definition of success, every set of objectives will vary. Your definition will lead you in a different direction than your peers. If you are ambiguous about your goals, start interrogating yourself and figure out your life's purpose. Ask questions like, what do I want to achieve? Where do I see myself in the next 5 years? What do I enjoy but could be better at? How do I define success? What kinds of accomplishments will help me drive forward? These will help you learn more about yourself and devise your objectives. Write down the first answer that comes to your mind without overthinking. Remember, there are no right or wrong answers. By answering these questions one by one, you will notice a pattern emerging. It will be your dedicated path to shaping or reshaping your objectives. Step 2. Prioritize your objectives. If you have several desires that you wish to fulfill, prioritize your objectives to view them as tangible goals. By flashing a simple why at your life's purpose, you can find answers to what you genuinely want. It can be landing your dream job, earning your college degree with honors, buying the first house, or being completely debt-free. Of course, they do not necessarily have to be material possessions. You can also aspire to achieve happiness or peace of mind. If you know what you want but are not sure how to get there, this step is bound to help you. Step 3. Write them down. By penning down your goals, you create a clear picture of the milestones and objectives you will achieve. This will imprint your desires in your mind to help them stick. Write them down and place them on your work desk, mirror, front door, refrigerator, or any other visible spot around your home or office. This will remind you of your main purpose and provide the motivation and drive you need. Break down your goals into smaller, achievable milestones. Say your final goal is to achieve financial independence. Everyone has their own definition of financial freedom, which is why you must outline yours. Start by writing your main goal on a piece of paper and deconstruct it into smaller steps. In this case, your first step will be to apply for your well-paid dream job and will push you closer to your goal. If needed, divide your first milestone further into even smaller steps and set an accomplishment time frame for each. Step 4. Take the SMART goal approach. Whether you're crafting new goals for yourself, whether personally, academically, or professionally, several factors will influence your likelihood of success. That's why your objectives should be SMART, as in S, specific. Your goals must be specific. They should reflect the why, what, where, and how you will get closer to your objectives. M, measurable. How will you know if you are truly fulfilling your goal? What are the milestones or benchmarks to determine that? Are you setting deadlines or monitoring your progress through your development? Record a specific measurement. It can be defined on your own to measure your goals. A, attainable. There is no point in setting goals that you can't achieve. This does not mean that they should be easy. Establish goals that are ambitious yet attainable. If not, you are simply wasting your time and energy trying to achieve an objective that will never be fulfilled. R, realistic. In a similar vein, your goals should be realistic too. Visualizing a mirage of hopes and dreams that will never be realized is impractical and elusive. So be pragmatic and set goals that you believe are feasible and within your reach. T, time-bound. Lastly, set a timetable for each of your objectives. You should be able to fulfill a goal within a specific time frame. This will ensure that you can fulfill all your objectives in the next few years within a designated and precise time frame.
A person's successful if they know where they are and they know where they're going and they're progressively moving in that direction. Success was the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Anyone that has a goal and they're moving towards it, they're successful. But I think we're conditioned. We have a real strong conditioning, usually without some very good ideas. Because we lack awareness or understanding of who we are, we're totally locked into a physical world, and we let things outside of us control us. 95% of the population are reacting to life. They're not really living at all.
Philosophy, as I taught the last time I was here, philosophy, in my personal opinion, is the major determining factor in how your life works out. Philosophy, the major determining factor in how your life works out. To form our philosophy, you gotta think, you gotta use your mind, you gotta process ideas. And in my opinion, each person's personal philosophy is the major factor in how your life works out. Here's what I called it in that last presentation when I was here. It's called the set of the sail. Each person's personal philosophy is like the set of the sail. Now, I used to think it was circumstances that ordered my life. I used to blame the traffic, the weather, I used to blame circumstances. So I figured that, my future was going to be tied to what everybody else was arranging, the economy. And, you could turn around, go north, you can go east, you can go west, you can order the entire process of your own life. And we do that by the way we think. We do that by exercising our mind. We do that by processing ideas and come up with a better philosophy, a better strategy for our life, goals for the future, okay? Plans to achieve those goals. All this comes from developing our philosophy.
I don't know how to start improving my life. Someone might say that. And I would say, well, you're not aiming low enough. There's something you could do that you are regarding as trivial, that you could do, that you would do, that would result in an actual improvement. But it's not a big enough improvement for you, so you won't lower yourself enough to take the opportunity. The point is, your best strategic position is, how am I insufficient and how can I rectify that? That's what you've got. And the thing is, you are insufficient and you could rectify it. Both of those are within your grasp. If you aim low enough.
Time and dedication. It takes a willingness to accept that you're not yet good enough. It takes the ability to stare at the places that you know that you're weak, to really look at those things and not let it affect your sense of self-esteem and not let it affect your sense of self-worth, so that you can still get the momentum going. But you have to understand that in the beginning, we're all terrible.
Remember, little achievements lead to confidence that conquers guilt. Then buy up every challenge to reach your goal. You can now handle it. The winter, the spring, the harvest. Bring a new zeal to every problem, to every fear, to every opportunity. The inspiration from it all and the immediate and future progress that will someday give you a view from the top of your goals, your adventure, and your achievements.
Most people get their motivational intuition through gut feelings. Thinking things through often prevents us from digging deeper and following our intuition. Those who consider themselves realists tend to see their objectives with a practical approach. For them, listening to their gut feeling is trivial, even fearful. The easiest way to find motivation in your intuition is to shun the thoughts that are created to play safe, some of which include common sense or I should have. By entertaining these thoughts, you are inhibiting your potential and deflecting. As a result, you are shutting yourself from experiencing your real intuitional motivation. Whether you are looking for motivation to relieve a midlife crisis or overcome a common obstacle, your role your motivational instincts play is a deciding factor in your life's journey. Let's look at it from a different perspective. While the idea of digging deeper into your soul is largely overstated, it is not the only way to find inspiration and motivation. As stated, you can find inspiration from something as simple as taking a walk in the park or getting into a deep meditative state. By facing your thoughts and acknowledging your feelings at every turn, you can strengthen your motivational intuition and stay inspired under any circumstances. Ultimately, it's important to take it one step at a time. If you feel motivated, you are likely to get excited and get one grand idea. If you cannot execute it to perfection, divide it into smaller steps that are attainable and realistic. Take time to learn. Develop a growth mindset. The best approach to self-development is to take things slowly and advance at your own pace. The gravest mistake you can make is focusing on quick fixes. Your success can only be achieved with consistent, gradual change. which comes with developing a solid growth mindset. Despite different temperaments, learning abilities, skills, and talents, most of us can develop a growth mindset to stimulate our personal development. Fixed versus growth mindset. The first step in cultivating a growth mindset is learning to distinguish it from a fixed mindset. A person with a fixed mindset is often stuck with preconceived notions and is unable to grow from their experiences. They may suffer from creative blocks or fail to find inspiration. In extreme cases, they may develop mental health conditions such as chronic anxiety and depression. Having a fixed mindset inhibits not only your mental health, but also your growth potential. If you cannot accept constructive criticism, are threatened by other people's successes, or tend to give up easily, chances are you have a fixed mindset. By contrast, developing a growth mindset allows you to embrace challenges and enrich your curiosity. You are eager to find inspiration, learn, and accept criticism without taking offense. The best way to stay motivated and avoid repeating the same mistakes is by reflecting on your past. Amend your past mistakes and redefine your mindset as you seek self-improvement. Most importantly, focus on the journey and the process instead of fixating on the results. When you seek quality and stability, successful outcomes will always follow. In the end, a growth mindset grants you freedom, whereas a fixed mindset caps your potential.
How are you programming your mind this week? What are you reading? Who are you listening to? Let me know in the comment section of this video. How are you programming your mind? Are you making it intentional? Let me know. I ask this question because a lot of people are not intentional with how they are programming their mind. This is where a resource like Mind Valley University comes into play. You can take countless courses and they are all for helping you expand in whatever region you want. Mind Valley also has a 15-day trial. 15-day trial. So if you don't like Mind Valley, after 15 days, you get your money back. So you could just dive into Mind Valley, see what it offers, do whatever courses that you want to do. And, if you don't like it, get your money back. I'm pretty sure they're going to have you hooked. So if you're interested, again, in Mind Valley, I encourage you to check it out. Link is in the description. With my link, you get 50% off. If you don't use my link and you just go there, you're going to be paying full price. So again, make sure you check it out and come back to check me out so we can talk about it more. And remember to program your own mind. Peace.
A lot of people want to find their passion. They say, how do I find my calling? And I point out to them that there are plumbers who think they found their calling, and there are plumbers who wish they could sing opera. It turns out it has nothing to do with the profession. It has to do with our narrative about the profession. Doing the work changes our story about the work. And I think it's so much more reliable and so much easier to love what you do than it is to do what you love. Making the choice to love what you do means that whatever you're doing, you can be in love.
I was working on a job, and I came home one day. I was married at the time, and I told my former wife, I said, that guy Bert I work for is stupid. She said, if he's so stupid, why does he sign you a paycheck? And the truth was that Bert Childs was a blessing to me. He made life so miserable for me, I had to start looking at my life differently. I started going to work earlier. I started being the last one to leave there. I started working harder than anybody else.
You have nothing to rely on in your life that's more crucial to your success as you move through life than your character and your personality. That's what you bring to every situation. And the more sophisticated you are in relationship to yourself and others, the more you understand people, the deeper you understand the nature of your own being, the more likely it is that you're going to proceed through your life in a manner that will make you pleased to exist rather than displeased to exist.
The race is not given to the swift nor the strong, but it is he that endures to the end. They say that discipline is doing what you hate like you love it. For some of you, it might be reading. For some of you, it might be exercising. I don't know what it is that you hate, but do it like you love it and do it daily.
A lot of times the secretary says, boss, give me a raise, then I'll start coming to work on time. So many times the student will say, teacher, just give me a passing grade this semester. My folks are going to tear me up if I don't have a passing grade. Then next semester, I'll guarantee you I'll study. Can you imagine the farmer saying, Lord, give me a crop this year and I promise I'll plant next year? No, it doesn't work that way. You got to put something in before you can get something out.
Get involved. Get connected. Go do something you've never done before. Because when you are exposed, you see that there are more options than your contemporary situation.
Opportunity is right where you are, ladies and gentlemen. It is not in some faraway place with those strange sounding names. It is right here.
Just challenge yourself. Just challenge yourself. Challenge yourself at the gym next time. Challenge yourself when you're on the road next time to go a little bit further. Challenge yourself to get a little faster. Challenge yourself to be a little more mobile or flexible. Challenge yourself to stay a little longer in that yoga pose. Challenge yourself to reset your mindset after you get angry or hurt or down. If you're not challenging yourself, who is? I know people say, but Brendan, isn't perfectionism such a problematic thing in mental health? I'm like, totally. That is the super thin slice. The reality is, perfectionism isn't the problem. The problem is people think they should be perfect. But perfecting ourselves, growing into our full potential, expecting a lot of ourselves, that can be done in healthy ways, especially when you consider all the things we've talked about today. It's okay to challenge yourself again. Last time you might have challenged yourself, maybe you got down on yourself. This time, as you challenge yourself, allow the grace. Do it with social accountability. Have an energetic vision. Recalibrate. Find what feels good for you and stick to that. You can figure out a way to feel better. You can figure out a way to get healthier. It's going to be on your own path, in your own way. No one can tell you all the right ways to do that. You'll probably need support. You'll probably take months and months and months and years to figure it out. And often you'll fall off the wagon. You'll do a terrible thing. You'll make a bad choice, but you'll recalibrate and you'll keep getting better, because you and I both know that every day is a great day to grow. I want to thank you all for this incredible session today on health. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll share with family and friends if it supported you. Just go tell people what we're doing here at Growth Day. Like, holy, they're having an entire month of conversations about health, about mental health, emotional health, physical health, right here in Growth Day. We'll be live every single week with you guys, as always, on our Wednesday Wisdoms. So tune back in, watch the replays, make a commitment, journal today about your energy vision. Please do that. Please stay on path. Please take care of yourself. Please be kind to yourself. Please practice self-respect and self-love. You deserve a vibrant and energetic life. Do your work to move towards that, to align with that, to honor that impulse. And know that you don't have to do it alone. We're all doing it together. We're all figuring it out together. We're all on this journey together. That's why we always say every day is a great day to grow together.
You're okay the way you are. That's what we tell young people. Oh, you're okay the way you are. It's like, man, there's nothing worse than you can tell someone who's young than that, especially if they're miserable. And lots of them, well, if they're miserable and aimless, it's like, oh, I'm miserable and aimless, and sometimes I'm suicidal and I'm nihilistic and I don't have any direction in my life. It's like, well, you're okay the way you are. They don't want to hear that. They want to hear, you're useless. You know nothing. You haven't got started. You've got 60 years to put yourself together, and God only knows what you could become.
I used to say. I sure hope things will change. That seemed to be my only hope. If it isn't going to change, I'm in serious trouble. And then I discovered it isn't going to change. The tide comes in and then what? It goes out. For 6,500 years that we know of, recorded history, and probably long before that. So it is not going to change. It's going to be about like it's always been. It gets light and then what? It turns dark. 6,500 years. See, it's not likely to change. Mr. Schultz said, Jim, I've only known you a short time. But he said, it's already my honest opinion that for things to change for you, you've got to change. For things to change for you, you've got to change. Otherwise, it isn't going to change. Direction determines destination. You cannot change destination. It means you can't arrive at a 5-year place tomorrow. But here's what you can change today and overnight.
When we look out on our lives, you ask the question, what are you going to do? Look at, as you think about this that you know you need to handle, what are you going to do? And then write down 3 strong reasons on why you know you must take action. And being explicit and descriptive in your reasons, because your reasons have power. Your reasons will drive you. When you have doubt, when your faith becomes weak, your reasons will fortify your faith. When you have an inner conversation, say, no, don't do that. Your reasons will become your rod and your staff to comfort you, to take you through those challenging moments. So write down your reasons. And what you will find, that when you decide to act, when you decide to take life on, and let me warn you, it can be painful, it will be uncomfortable, and that's where the growth is.
Luck is a word that people usually use to describe things that happen that they don't understand and can't explain. You, like everyone else, have a strong need to make sense of your life and what is going on around you. Psychologists call this a need for a sense of coherence or an understanding of how things hang together. When this sense of coherence is threatened by things that seem to happen by chance, either positive or negative, we reassert mental order and peace of mind by writing it off to luck of some kind. Once you can say, he or she was just lucky, or I just got a lucky break, it gives you a sense of comfort and security and enables you to stop thinking about how and why a particular thing happened, even though it might have been a remarkable coincidence. Interestingly enough, successful people have a tendency to both feel lucky and to be lucky, and they often attribute their successes to luck. Sometimes successful people say this to avoid the envy attached to high achievement. They claim that they were just lucky so that they appear humble and ordinary in the eyes of others. Unsuccessful people, on the other hand, attribute much of the success of others to their being lucky rather than to their being talented. At the same time, they blame most of their own failures on bad luck, as though the law of cause and effect had somehow been suspended in their cases, thereby making them the unfortunate and undeserving victims of chance. Deep in their hearts, most successful people attribute their achievements to hard work, far beyond the ordinary. They say things like, the harder I work, the luckier I get. They believe that they have earned their success and that they deserve the occasional lucky break that seems to pop up and propel them forward far faster than the ordinary. The fact is, your luck can be managed and increased by applying certain mental and physical laws that apply to luck in your own life. What you're about to learn about luck and success could change your future.
Wilfred Peterson once skillfully said, "Walk with the dreamers, the believers, the courageous, the cheerful, the planners, the doers, the successful people with their heads in the clouds and their feet on the ground." If you seek self-improvement, you can inspire people around you as well, which will reciprocate in a positive light. Your circle of friends and acquaintances should uplift you rather than bring you down. In a way, the people you hang out with are are a reflection of your standards. Stay away from toxic individuals who slack off and do not encourage you to fulfill your goals and push your limits. As they say, if you are the smartest person in the room, then you are in the wrong room. While surrounding yourself with like-minded and gifted people is important, the ones you hang out with should also have a positive outlook. After all, your worth and value will mostly be measured by the 5 people you are closest to. Find inspiration. Seeking inspiration is another way to keep growing, especially when you are facing creative blocks. To a large extent, getting inspired is triggered internally. Even though it waxes and wanes along one's creative process, you can still seek external sources to find inspiration. In reality, we all can use inspiration to remain positive and feed our souls. This not only boosts your creativity, but gives you something to look forward to, particularly during those times of hardship and uncertainty. At times, feeling inspired is the only way to clear the mayhem you are experiencing and moving forward with your life. There are countless ways to find inspiration around you. Reading, exercising, meditating, painting, or a stroll in the park are a couple of ways to recharge your batteries. Inspiration can be both active and passive. Finding active inspiration motivates you to create something with great purpose, whereas passive inspiration enables you to see the skills and talents of other people and draw your motivation from them. At times when you find yourself in the doldrums, you may conclude that you are just not skilled enough for a certain task. In truth, you simply lack inspiration for the creative juices to flow. By engaging with your entourage and surroundings, you can hope to ignite that spark that will unlock all the doors in front of you.